All right, welcome to our fabulous Sonder Social weekly setup tonight. We are going to set up for the week. I know for a lot of folks, it's a short week, so it might be a little crazy, a little confusing, a little out of the ordinary. And so I am so happy that you're here with us to kind of help get things set up. And the more we can plan, I think the more calm hopefully we should be. So my name is Maya, and I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado, where it was a little chilly this morning, but not too bad this afternoon. But I think it's supposed to rain later on tonight. Might be a little rain tomorrow, and then I think we're going to get some snow on Thanksgiving Day and maybe the Friday after. So always the wacky weather here in Colorado. I know other folks are having interesting weather patterns as well. And I know, is there anyone who this is your first setup that you've been to, your first Sonder Social, your first setup that you've come to? You can just kind of throw a little me in the chat. We love to see our new folks coming in. We love to see our folks that have been here multiple times. Carrie, welcome. So it's always great. Oh, Heidi, nice. Love to see those new folks coming in. Welcome, everyone. So the main goal of tonight is to kind of get things set up for the week. We're going to go over a couple pages in detail, some of the different sections on page 46 and 47. We're going to spend a little time reflecting and all those good things. So I do want to mention, make sure that you set your chat to everyone. That little blue box there, you can see kind of in the there on the slide. If you don't set it to everyone, it only goes to myself, and my fabulous stage manager with me tonight is Katie. She's coming to us from across the pond over in Scotland, where it is much later, but she's a night owl, so she's happy to be here with us tonight. And if you want to send it just to us, that's fine. But just know, if you don't flip that chat, it only goes to her and I. So just a few community guidelines want to make sure that we go over, especially for our new folks. This is a safe and supportive space. So we just ask that you're kind and courteous to yourself and others. There's no promotion or spam. We respect each other's privacy, no hate speech or bullying. Limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. The best place to ask product and accessory questions, like where do you get your stickers? What kind of pens do you use? Is in our app in the Sonder Club, because then lots of people can chime in. People can give you links, people can give you pictures, all of that good stuff. Redirect any of those customer care inquiries to our team. hello@silkandsonder.com will get you to our headquarters. Just know they're a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 operations, so sometimes they don't get back to you immediately, but they will. So just be patient, and ultimately remember that these Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And let me tell you, we have a fabulous community here. But keep in mind that you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if we work on anything tonight that's not your jam, you're not feeling like it, Nicole, don't cry already. We always joke about it. We always need some tissue with our Sonder Socials. But if anything isn't working for you, if the chat isn't working, if you're not gelling with that, you don't have to post in the chat. You don't have to read the chat. If the music that I play isn't your thing, put it on mute. You can kind of see the closed captioning will show up, right? If I'm not your jam, right? Again, you can put it on mute. You can put me on mute. You can just read, and you can work on your journal. It's totally up to you, but this is very much for you to do what you need. So please take care of yourself as we go through our social tonight. So here's the agenda. We're going to do every weekly setup. We do what we call a mind map, where we dig into the theme. So we're going to do our nostalgia mind map. We're going to do a little weekly reflection with our rosebud thorn that's over on page 40. Oops, I forgot. I think it's on page 44. Then we're going to work on our setup. And so I always like to use these two cartoons just to remind you that there's room for you here just as you are. So if things are going well for you, things are going great, you got a promotion, you got a raise, new relationship, kids are doing great, all those kinds of things. We love to celebrate. Let us know. We love, love, love to celebrate with you. But conversely, sometimes things don't go well, right? We know that life is not always a series of ups. We hit bumps in the road. Sometimes they're really big bumps. Sometimes they're big potholes, right? We're here for you for that too. We're here to support you. So don't ever feel like you can't share the challenges that you're facing, the struggles that you're facing. We know we have folks who are dealing with health issues, toxic jobs, family health issues, pet health issues, all those kinds of things. So always we want to share the happy, the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of life, because that's just kind of how life is, right? And speaking of feelings, the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So no one can tell you you shouldn't feel this way about something, right? You feel the feels that you have, and we are here to be there with you for that. So, as you know, this month we're digging into this idea of nostalgia. And I know some folks maybe struggle a little bit with this. They didn't have, there are some things in their past that they didn't want to address, that they don't necessarily want to address. Just keep in mind that nostalgia can really be whatever time period you want and whatever area you want. So Katie and I were talking before the social about music and CDs and records, and how do you listen to music now, and fun old songs. And so my opening song, Sweetest Thing by U2, Katie was talking about how she remembered hearing that song on one of those Now That's What They Call Music, volume 2, right? And we looked and they're up to volume 88 now, but we were laughing about how, we used to get these CDs that had this kind of basically a playlist, right, on a CD. And how we decided, yeah, I know they're up to Now That's What They Call Music 88, right? Um, but yeah, so it's kind of fun you can do nostalgia when you think about things like music and what kinds of music you listen to and the songs that you listen to, how you listen to music, right? Same thing with movies. We were talking about Disney movies on DVD versus on VHS, right? Versus people, streaming. We were also kind of talking about that. So nostalgia can really be what you want. So remember, you choose. You have the power to choose what you want to think about when you think about nostalgia. You do not have to think about something that was upsetting. You do not have to think about bad memories. You can pull what you need from this theme, right? So with that in mind, we're going to do our nostalgia mind map. So we explore this role that nostalgia plays in our life. We're doing this over 4 weekends this month. This is weekend number 3. So we are going to focus on, here's the question for you. Are there memories from your past that could help you rediscover who you are, right? And so think about this. Think about memories from your past. Maybe it's memories of things that you used to do that you don't do anymore. You're not sure why you don't do them anymore. Things about yourself that maybe you forgot. So this will take a little bit of digging, right? A little bit of thinking. I'll show you my example. So this is my paper. I use one of the blank pages. Obviously, this is page 7. You can use the scratch pad section of each week if you want to address each question in each week. You can use any blank page that you have. This isn't specifically in your journal, right? So for week 3, when I think about memories from your past that could help me rediscover who I am, this actually was very poignant for me this weekend, because looking back over the years, when I was completing a 5K every month, doing half marathons, doing a lot of different races, really made me remember that I am a runner. I do enjoy running. I enjoy moving my body, being outside, being around others who enjoy the same. I had kind of gotten away from it since probably 2019. I just wasn't doing it anymore. And I honestly couldn't really tell you why. There wasn't really anything that happened. I just wasn't. So again, this worked out really well, because I'm getting back to that, because I liked who I was. I liked how I felt when I was doing that. So my husband and I did a 5K yesterday on 11/18, and it felt really good to be back out there. So again, kind of this thinking about memories from your past. Again, maybe it's something where you used to used to sing a lot, and you haven't been doing that. You used to play board games a lot and you haven't been doing that. Any kind of memories from the past to kind of help you think about maybe rediscovering who you are. And again, there's no time requirement to define your past. It could be something you did a lot of last year that you're not doing anymore. You really can define how you rediscover and reflect on this question. It can be mental, emotional, or physical steps to move you forward. So I see some folks are already thinking about this. Awesome. So think about that. Write that. Welcome to share with us in the chat. You're welcome to just kind of work on this and write on this, play a little bit of music, and then we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right, nice job. Thank you so much for everyone who shared in the chat, being very vulnerable, kind of talking about things that you realize you haven't done for a long time that really is kind of, you realize kind of makes a void in your life. It kind of is that empty space, right? Like talking about dancing, haven't been dancing for a while, crocheting. I saw a lot of fabulous, again, kind of like the creative arts, right? Drawing, painting, singing, playing an instrument, right? All of those things. And a lot of times we drop those, excuse me, when we start to get really busy and life starts to get really stressful. But if you think about it, that's kind of when we need it the most, right? So I would love for you just to think about how can you maybe pull a piece of that back in. It doesn't mean you have to go and, perform a concert somewhere or join, get into a dance competition or something like that. But how might you incorporate some of those things that you love, some of those things that help you rediscover who you are and bring those back in, right? And it can be very tough, right? So again, folks talking about going through depression, going through stressful times, maybe financially not being able to pick things up, but see if there's maybe a little something that you can do to kind of bring that joy, bring that memory, bring that in so that you can do that now. So again, this can be a memory, right? We're building our memories right now that future us will thank us for, right? So think about future you. What do you want future you to come and look back on, and how do you want to kind of bring that in? So thank you all so much for sharing. Love to see those comments in the chat. So let's dive into our weekly reflection, right? And so every week we like to look back at the past week and see what we did. It's a good time for reflection. If you're like me, you're always kind of barreling through life sometimes, right? And you forget to take a look back. You forget to reflect on what you've done and how things have been going. So we always do this rosebud thorn at the end of each week. And again, this is on page 44 of your July. Wow, I just totally went to a whole different month. Your November journal. And so here's mine. So the thorn really is something that's a challenge, something that's frustrating, something that maybe you don't have a lot of control over. Just something that's really like that thing for the week. And so for me, I'm on the HOA board, and we had a lot of HOA drama at our last meeting, and it was very stressful and kind of caused me to lose some sleep. And so it definitely was something that was like did not like the HOA drama. So hopefully that thorn will calm down a little bit, right? Then our bud is something that's an emerging opportunity, something fun, something you're looking forward to. It can be something small, it can be something big, like a trip. It could be, any of those kinds of things. So for me, my bud is we always cut our own Christmas tree. We go up into the mountains and we hike around in the woods, and we find a Christmas tree and cut it down and look like the Griswolds, from Christmas Vacation, with a big tree on our car, and bring that down. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And then my rose, like I had said earlier, was completing the pumpkin pie 5K. And yes, someone asked, did you get to eat pumpkin pie at the end? Yes. That was the great part, right? You run 3.1 miles and then you get a piece of pumpkin pie. So that was lovely. And I saw someone else say that they had those same capris, and I love those. I got them at Kohl's quite a while back, but they are super comfortable and fun. So again, like I said, that definitely was my rose. So I'll play a little bit of music for you, let you work on this section. I see some folks are already sharing, so that is fabulous. We'll check back in here in just a moment. So if I can get my computer to work. There we go. All right. Thank you all for sharing your rose, your bud, and your thorn. And I think, some of you kind of mentioned how sometimes the rose and the thorn are the same thing. I know when we were remodeling the bedroom, the remodel was both the rose, the bud, and the thorn for several weeks in a row. So that's the thing. A lot of times things in our lives really can um, feel like a rose and a thorn, or maybe they're the bud and the thorn, right? All of those kinds of things. And so I love different folks kind of talking about a lot of times with the thorn, a lot of times it's illness. They've been feeling ill. I saw some folks who got the flu. I know that's been going around again. Always this time of year with everybody being indoors and all breathing all over everybody, right? But lots of roses, celebrating anniversaries. Kayla, congratulations on your 7-year anniversary. I see lots of folks are knitters and crocheters, and so they've been kind of working on that. I'm a knitter, and so I've been working on a project for my sister, which I have it all divided up so I can get it done by the end of the month so that I can actually get it to her on time. That's always the trick with crafting, right? Is to get it done before the holiday. Otherwise it becomes a gift for next year, maybe. Right? So let's dive in to our week, right? And let's dive in. We're going to dive in. Let's see, we're on page 46. Believe it or not, this is week 47 of the year. We are rapidly wrapping up the year. And our first little box there at the top is how you want to feel for the week, right? And this is really important. I kind of call this setting the stage for the week ahead, really kind of thinking about how do you want to show up for the world, right? How do you want to show up? So lots of different ideas for words that you could use. You could use a phrase. You could have multiple words. You could say things like, I want to feel flexible. I have a lot going on this week and I want to feel like I achieved something at the end of the week. So I need to be flexible. So you could have a little sentence in there, right? Again, it's all about for you as you're setting up that feeling, right? So I'm going to play a little bit of music. Let us know if you'd like. I see some people are already popping that into the chat. I'll play a little bit of music, let you work on your feeling, and then we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right, lots of good words there in the chat. Lots of grateful, connected, of course, is a great word for this week coming up. Let's see, what else have I been seeing? Lots of words like peaceful, thankful, loving, happy. Let's see, what else do we have? Motivated, mindful, all of those great words. So that is fabulous. So keep that in your head as you fill out some of these next sections, right? Because really think about the things that you put in there are the things that you set your goals, your to-dos, your habits and activities should all ultimately lead you to have that feeling. So really be, kind of thinking of that. What is my feeling and how are these things going to help me feel my feeling. So the first one we're going to look at is the major 3 goals. And we say 3 because really 3 is kind of a limit for how many things we can usually prioritize and focus on at a time. I know some people like to have more. We're not going to stop you from having more, but I will caution you and say, especially in a week like this, right? You want to make sure that your goals are reasonable and achievable, right? So I think that's something a lot of us set goals for the perfect fantasy us, right? We live in a fantasy world and a perfect world, and we think everything will go our way. People will do what we need them to do. The traffic will cooperate with us. The weather will cooperate with us. And we know that life's not really like that, right? So think about that as you set those goals, right? Yes, you want to set lofty goals. You want to set goals that will make a difference, but you also want to be careful about setting things up that are maybe a little too maybe not quite, especially with the week coming ahead, right? So make sure that those kind of go together. And again, with your feeling. So you can always look back at your November intentions or your monthly habit tracker. You can set these goals through the lens of nostalgia. Maybe you want to do some no goals, like no alcohol or no doom scrolling, no more than a certain number of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, which is always hard this time of year, no takeout meals. Maybe you want to look back at previous weeks. Maybe you have some goals that you've been kind of moving forward each week because you're taking little steps each week to work toward it. There's nothing wrong with bringing something forward from last week. Maybe you want some personal challenge goals, like a fitness challenge or a cleaning and decluttering challenge. Here's some examples of some things that folks have done in the past, right? So saying things like maybe your goal is enjoying time with family. Maybe it's sharing gratitude with others, rest, prioritizing sleep, making a movement plan, increasing effort at work, decluttering, organizing, and cleaning. One person has a left brain goal, a right brain goal, and a no brain goal. I think that's kind of a fun idea to kind of look at that. And then there's also, Katie had shared this in her social this morning, 6 ways to prioritize your mental health until New Year, right? This time of year, it gets a little intense, right? So prioritize things that will help with your mental health. So things like writing a list of things that bring you joy for you to turn to during hard days, saying no to things that stress you out, creating a realistic holiday budget for gifts and spending that keep you at peace. And I saw there were some folks kind of talking about this idea of money and debt, and you don't want to get yourself in debt over the holidays because you want you're trying to prove something, right? And remember, sometimes I don't like to say I can't afford it. I say things like that's not in my budget, right? Or that's not in my budget right now. That's not something that I want to spend money on right now. Being very intentional, right? Maybe you want to push things back a day or two on your to-do list. Maybe you want to practice gratitude. Maybe you want to identify in your life who makes you happy and spending time with them, right? So just a few ideas for things that you can put with goals. And some people like to tie this in. So I'm going to show you the to-dos as well. So sometimes it's good to maybe you make your to-dos and then you decide how those are going to contribute to a goal or vice versa. So here's some examples of to-dos. And I found someone posted on Sonder Club today. They made in their to-do, they made it a pumpkin pie, right? And they have like all the to-do things as a slice of pie. I thought that was a very cute way to set up their to-dos. And really, we want to make sure that we remember the results we want rarely come without a process of gradual steps toward it first. So I often try to think of my to-dos as what are those gradual steps that will get me to my goal at some point. So of course, you can also do a bingo. You can do one person divided it into wants and needs. So they have things that they want to do this week and things that they need to do this week. A lot of folks like to use the Eisenhower matrix, where you can take each task and you can decide, does that go into, is that something that's important and urgent? So it's something that you need to do. Is it something that's important and not urgent? Maybe you need to decide what to do with that, decide on a deadline. Not important, but urgent. Maybe you can delegate in some way. Not important and not urgent. Maybe it's something that you can delete, right? And here's another page of fun things. Some people do a to-be list, so how they want to be: present, encouraging, confident, etc. A lot of people like to do the to-do list. I saw folks this morning talking about they like the idea of ta-da with a week that gets a little intense like this. It's just kind of like, look at everything that I need to do, but instead of listing them, maybe look at things I've accomplished. So that's always kind of fun sometimes, is I do something and then I write it on my to-do list and it's already checked off because I just did it. You can also see, you could use a quote, right? Someone had a quote about, when the hard things happen to us, it enables us to be there for someone else later. So maybe there's a quote that will help inspire you during this week. So I'm going to let you work on your goals and your to-dos. Feel free to share as much as you would like in the chat, and then we'll check back here in just a moment. Oops. All right. So hopefully some good ideas for goals, good ideas for to-dos. And again, you can have one goal. You can say, I'm going to focus on one thing this week. I'm not going to focus on three. Absolutely fine. Maybe you have two goals, right? And then those to-dos really can focus on those particular goals. So hopefully you've got some ideas for that. And I do want to also mention, if there's a lot of, we give a lot of ideas in these socials and show lots of examples, and there's lots of stuff going on in the chat. So sometimes folks like to just take some screenshots, write down some notes on post-it notes, and then work on this later when they don't kind of feel, sometimes it feels like pressure, I think, when we're on here and like I play a little song and then we pop back on, you're like, oh, I was supposed to be done. Don't feel like that, right? And again, remember, these journals are yours. We're not going to come by and grade your journals, I promise. So it really is for you, and it can look very different from week to week as you go through. So let's take a look at that bottom part, those habits and activities. So a lot of folks say, how is this different from the habit wheel? And we usually say, well, the habit wheel is something that we want to do every day or pretty much every day, right? And then this is more specific to the week. Maybe it's things you want to do a couple times this week, or maybe 3 times this week. You guys are coming up with all sorts of funny ideas for us coming and knocking on your door to check on your journal. We really aren't. And don't grade yourself either. This is a no grade project, right? It's a completed or not completed, or it can be a I have it, I thought about it, I attended a social, right? You don't have to grade yourself, I promise. So lots of different ideas for ways to do this. I love the one someone had posted down in the bottom middle that says laughing, kissing, hugging, random acts of kindness, and curl up and read, right? These don't have to be labor intensive things. They can be fun things that you want to do a few times this week. They can also be things, maybe you have a no you want to do some just no things, right? Like deleting emails. I have had great success with spending some time each day unsubscribing from all the email listservs and the ads and all of those kinds of things. It also helps if you're trying not to spend impulsively. If you get rid of all those emails that tell you about sales and new products, it's amazing. You don't see the emails, you don't buy the stuff, and it cleans out your email box. So that's always a good one to put down. Things like dishes, laundry, daily ritual. Again, you can put one thing on here. You can put 2 things on here. You don't even have to fill out this section, right? It's totally up to you for what makes sense. Yeah, Carolyn's saying those marketing emails multiply. They really do. And I am such a sucker for, I see something like, oh, that looks cool, I should buy that. And I catch myself constantly overspending, right? So here's some other examples of things that folks have done and the number of times maybe they want to do them. We like to suggest sometimes it's fun to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the goals, that bottom right one where it's the first thing you want to do 5 times this week, then 4 times, then 3 times, then 2 times, then once. Yeah, so you don't always have to put numbers in there, but you can. Yeah, it does. Monica's saying it seems like for every 5 emails I subscribe, I get 100 more. That definitely is very obnoxious, right? But email, I remember, I'm old enough to remember the days when email was exciting and the you've got mail was like, oh, that's so exciting. And now I hate email. Like it's the bane of my existence, right? So getting rid of that is always helpful. Katie also found these super fun pictures, a little thing. We have an autumn bucket list because technically we are still in autumn. I feel like toward the end, mid to end autumn. Yeah, and Sally's saying be aware of scammers in full force on Instagram and other social media platforms. So yeah, do be careful of that. So there's lots of good ideas here. Maybe there's some fun things that you want to pop in there. The November self-care is also really good for things to pop in there. So I'll just play a little bit of music and we'll check back in, and then we'll move over to page 47. Okay, so lots of good ideas for things that folks can put in that habit and activity. I love the idea of putting something fun and spontaneous in there, like a dance party, dance party in the kitchen while the turkey's cooking or something like that, or singing in the shower, or just singing. I don't know if folks have seen the new Marvel movie. I'm a big Marvel's comic book superhero kind of fan. And I'm not giving anything too much away, but there's a planet that they visit where everyone converses in song. They all sing. My husband goes, oh man, he's like, you would fit right in on that planet because I'm constantly singing little songs to my cats and little songs to him. And yeah, the new Marvels movie is really cute. I was very pleased with that. Super fun. But the singing part, just think that's totally how I am usually walking around the house, singing little songs and cracking my husband up. So let's dive over to that next page on page 47. We have the meal plan first. And this is one I think of our most popular repurposing sections. People are always saying, how can I repurpose this? I don't track my food. I don't plan my meals, or I use some sort of an online app to do that, right? So we're going to give you lots of different ideas. Things like some people track the kind of rest. There's the 7 types of rest. So they plan for different types of rest that they're going to have. They write the daily affirmation in there. They write some cleaning tasks or decluttering tasks, tracking exercise. I'm actually using that this week. I'm going to start my 10K training plan. So this will be week 1 because I have a 10K in Disneyland in January. So I'm using it to plan that out, right? So lots of different fun ways to use this wardrobe planner, a packing list if you're going on a trip. You could use this to maybe help kind of prep if there's some food things that you have to do for the holiday. Chore list, appointments and socials, wardrobe tracker planner, using those water droplets as color coding for, like blue for water and maybe like brown for coffee. Juice could color it a different color. So those kinds of things are kind of fun to do as well. So I'm going to let you work on that, play a little music, and then we'll check back in, and then we'll do that next side with the mind, body, health, the shopping list, and the I am loving. So let me find a little song here. Usually I plan the songs I'm going to play, and this time I'm just kind of winging it. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'll check back in here in just a minute. All right. So I saw Sarah saying this page always trips her up, been here almost a year and can't get into the rhythm, get into a rhythm to use it. So don't feel bad about that, right? This page is a little trickier, as Katie likes to call it. It's our B side, right? Um, the uh, the B side of the record, right? So sometimes you want the B side, sometimes you like what's on the B side, and sometimes it's not a song you like, right? It's not something you use. So it really kind of depends. I don't sometimes I'll try to use it to like the food list to kind of track or to plan dinners. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Right. So it's always kind of a trick to figure out. And yeah, you can sometimes I don't do anything with this page or I use it for notes, right? Like a scratch pad where I'll write, like if somebody calls and need to take a message or something, I'll kind of use it for that. So try out different things. Don't be afraid to try something out that might be new and different to see if it works for you this week. So our mind body health plan is over there on that right side. Again, lots of different ways to use this. The idea is that it's things that you're doing for your mind and your body on a daily basis. Okay. So I like the one up in the top left where they kind of have the fun little alliteration for the days, right? So they have meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday, walking Wednesday. So kind of that idea to put in there. The other person below that got very ambitious and gave themselves 3 different options for things to do each day, like meditate on daily ritual, 15 minutes on the stationary bike, or review the September, I'm not sure what that word is, but 3 different things to pick from, and they only had to pick from one. So that's kind of a fun way to go about that. We've got bingos. Bingos are always super popular on this page. People can kind of they can be a to-do list bingo, or it could be a Thanksgiving bingo. Sometimes I do I call it snaps bingo. So pictures that I take, I challenge myself to take maybe like a picture of a tree, a picture of a animal, a picture of a billboard, right? I kind of give myself different fun pictures to take. Somebody also did something I did well this week and some ways I loved others this week. So kind of changing things up and covering with washi tape the days of the week. There's also the easy weekday self-care ideas. So if you have, excuse me, if you have 60 seconds, you can do this. If you have 2 minutes, you could do that. If you have 10 minutes, if you have 3 minutes, if you have 5 minutes. So the idea of how much time you have kind of giving you an idea of different kinds of things that you can do. I'm also going to talk about the shopping list. So with our shopping list, again, bingos are obviously very popular for this. You can also use it for packing list, use it for quotes. I like the Restore My Soul, and they have some self-care ideas like writing, reading a book, watching a movie, eating out, getting a latte, having a cup of tea. So some different kinds of things to do. Right, yeah, Nicole, you don't have to set it up tonight. You can always do things later. Or you know what? Just FYI, a lot of times mine is blank. It really is okay, I promise you, right? So you're here with us, and that's awesome. So maybe you want to cut out unnecessary spending. Maybe you want to stay out of the dollar store. Maybe you want to just write a quote in here. Those kinds of things all work very nicely in here. And then for the I am loving, it really is something that you're enjoying for the week, or maybe something that you want to enjoy for the week. So this is a good one. Fun self-care things to do this winter that Katie found. And she's especially excited about the one that says have a pajama day, because she says that will give her permission to wear her pajamas for the day. Or decorate your house with goodies, experiment with cooking stews and soups. Drink some mulled wine, plan your month and finances to avoid stress, reflect on the year, right? So these could totally be some fun things. Here's some other examples of things that people have put in here for loving. Kitten cuddles in bed, loving the daily rituals, loving books and tea, those kinds of things. So again, I'll play a little bit of music. We'll check back in, and you can fill out or not the mind, body, health, the shopping list, and the I am loving section. Oh, I love everyone who wants to have pajama socials. I will tell Jen O for her coloring December social that she wants that we should say PJs are the required attire. So love it. Yeah, and I always joke to my husband sometimes I'm like, I have to change out of my day leggings and put on my pajama leggings, right? I'm like, oh yeah, such a big shift sometimes. So hopefully you've had some time to kind of think about how you want to set this page up, how you want to use this page. Again, if you don't use it, it's not a huge deal, right? So I do want to just show you a couple examples really quick, because sometimes people will ask, what do we do with this Monday through Saturday, Sunday days thing, right? So people do lots of different things with this. They track like highs and lows. They do a brain dump. They have self-care, household. Maybe they track their events or appointments, to-dos, chores, writing in their daily affirmation. Again, this is the one person who did Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday. Some people write the daily ritual. They journal in this section, absolutely fine, right? This person they have kind of up in the top, the one thing is their chore, and then for the day, and then they have like a verse, a quote, an affirmation that they keep track of. Yeah, Nicole, I do the leggings and dresses too, and people are like, oh, you look so cute. And I'm like, you have no idea how comfortable this is. Um, let's see other things that folks to-dos. The one person on the left uses it for because they have like Instagram and they're kind of promoting different things, so they talk about the different posts they're going to do or their stories that they're going to do on Instagram, reels, highlights, those kinds of things, or then maybe things that you've accomplished for the day, self-care that you did for the day, things you want to do tomorrow, all different ideas for ways to kind of set that up. I usually do I've actually started to kind of try to list no more than 3 things that I want to do. And I try to list like the big things that I need to do so that I can um, feel like I accomplished something, because I can make a to-do list like nobody's business. And then it starts to get a little much. And then I don't cross things off. And then I start to feel a little stressed. So believe it or not, this is always the fastest hour, I think. It's much faster than an hour hour on the treadmill. So we've come to the end. We love, love, love if you can share with us your weekly planner in Sonder Club. That's where we get all of our examples from. So we love when folks can share that and we can copy and paste and pop those in here. We don't ever put anyone's name with it. Like, you're always welcome to say, hey, that's mine, but we never say whose it is, right? And then just as an FYI, we still have the Refer a Friend program going. So that's if you refer a friend and they sign up with your link, you get $10. They get $10 to spend. You can also upgrade to an annual subscription. You do have to pay that all up front, but it is a cost savings of $110 a year. There's also a feedback survey for the socials. You will get that in your email, but you can also kind of scan that here. And Katie is popping links into the chat. She will also put the YouTube link in the chat so that you can watch the recordings. I think we have, I don't know, we have like over 500 recordings in there of all the different weeklies and all the different pages. And if you ever get bored, you can always kind of go in there and find a fun social to do. They don't have the chat, but they are still kind of fun to take a look. And Paula, the annual subscription will renew unless you tell them not to renew it. So always make sure that's that hello@silkandsonder.com, that you check in with them if you have any of those subscription questions or billing questions, if you change your address, all of those kinds of things, right? So thank you all so very much for being here tonight, for setting up your week. I hope you have a fabulous week. For those of you who have a short week, I hope you have a lovely short week. So glad, Taylor, that you've cured the Sunday scaries. We're ready to dive into Monday, and hopefully we will see you all again soon, my gorgeous, gorgeous Sonder fam. So take care, everyone.
You should take it as a compliment that I got drunk and made fun of the way you talk. You should think about the consequence of your magnetic field being a little too strong. And I got a boyfriend, he's older than us. He's in the club doing I don't know what. You're so cool in I say you're gorgeous. You should take it as a compliment that I'm talking to everyone here but you. And you should think about the consequence of you touching my hand in